السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, welcome in a new episode in our series Back to Basics. And we are talking about the key of paradise, and that is the kalima, the shahada, the declaration of faith, the testimony, and the conditions of this declaration, this testimony. Today we will continue the remaining conditions of the kalima. And the sixth condition is al-ikhlas, which is the sincerity. The sincerity that you are saying it purely and sincerely from your heart. There is ikhlas. It's not for showing off or to fool the people, because Allah is always watching. Allah is watching our hearts. إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسامكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. The meaning of the hadith, roughly. Allah does not look into your complexions, your skin color, or your bodies, but He looks to your hearts and your actions. So Allah is looking to this heart who says La ilaha illallah. Is it there? Is this kalima there in the heart? Or just he said it by his tongue? So if it is there in the heart, then it will benefit you. This will, insha'Allah, will be a cause for you to enter the Jannah initially, or even if you disobey Allah and committed sins and Allah willed to punish you because you have this kalima in your heart, you will come out from the hellfire, because the believers will not remain in Jahannam forever. The believers who committed sins will be purified in the hellfire according to Allah's will, or to forgive them. But if He will to punish them, they will not remain there in the hellfire forever. They will come out because of this beautiful kalima. So that's why the ikhlas is an essential element, ingredient. So to have this heart, yes, I believe in the oneness of Allah, that Allah is my Lord, is my Creator, He is my cherisher, He is my sustainer, He is my provider. I have no doubt about that. And I believe that my beloved Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah and the seal of all the prophets, and He is the last messenger, and I have to love Him from the core of my heart, and I have to follow His footsteps. So if you have that ikhlas, then and only then this kalima will be beneficial. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. They were commanded only to worship Allah sincerely, singling Him out, associating no partner with Him. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my dear brothers and sisters, will not accept any deed that is contaminated, polluted with any trace of shirk. من عمل عملا أشرك فيه معي غيري تركته وشركه. Whoever commits any good deed and yet he associated with me anyone, I will not accept it. I will leave it for the one whom he associated with me. So always ask yourself, am I doing it for Allah or not? What is the hidden motive behind it? So if you want the Jannah, do things purely, exclusively for His sake. Seeking your reward from Allah and Allah alone. That's the ikhlas. Aisha, Ummuna Aisha, our mother Aisha, radiyallahu anha wa an abiha. May Allah be pleased with her and her father, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, radiyallahu anhu. Whenever she would send sadaqah, she would give something, food or a soup or anything, and she would give it to her servant. She would tell the servant, wait. After giving them the sadaqah, wait and listen to what they say. And the servant would come back and would report to her what the receivers of sadaqah said. And he would tell her, or she would tell her, that they prayed for you, they made dua for you. So immediately our mother, radiallahu anha, would raise her hands and make dua for them. They prayed for her, they made dua for her, now she will make dua for them. And she would say, this dua for their dua. So they prayed for me, I prayed for them. So we are breaking even. And I want the reward of my sadaqah from Allah. I want the reward of my sadaqah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the ikhlas. This is the ikhlas. This is the sincerity. You seek Allah's pleasure only. You don't do it for showing off. The ikhlas is the most important thing. And with this ikhlas, which is actually one of the acts of the heart, that your intention is pure for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that, you can reach, my dear brothers and sisters, the highest levels in the Jannah. Because you have this ikhlas, sincerity in your heart. As the Prophet ﷺ, in many ahadiths, he said, in one of the authentic ahadith, which is in Sahih Muslim, من سأل الله الشهادة بصدق بلغه الله منازل الشهداء وإن مات على فراشه. My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll have a break and we'll continue after the break, inshallah. Welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam and dear viewers. Before the break, I mentioned the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ because we were talking about the importance of the ikhlas, which is the sixth condition of the kalima, and that is to have this sincerity in the heart. And if a person is so sincere with little acts or deeds, he can be in the highest level in the Jannat. You can be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ because you are sincere. You want. That's why the Sahaba, when they heard the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, I'll come back to the hadith about man sa'ala Allah shahadata bil-sidq, inshallah, and elaborate. But here, there's another hadith when the Prophet ﷺ said, a man asked him, he said, "O Prophet of Allah, O Prophet of Allah, we love people, but we don't have sufficient righteous deeds to be with them in the Jannah, but we love them. Are we going to be with them in the Jannah?" And the Prophet ﷺ, in response to the question, he said, "Al-mar'u ma'a man ahab." A person will be in the company of whomever he loves. Allahu Akbar. Al-mar'u ma'a man ahab. You choose now. Whom do you love? You love the Prophet ﷺ? You love the Sahaba? You love Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali? You love them? Indeed, wallahi, wallahi, by Allah, and He is my witness, I love them. And I pray to Him to bestow His blessing on us on the day of resurrection, to grant us that honor, seeing the Prophet ﷺ, seeing his companions in the Jannah. Our master Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, when he was breathing his last, he was so happy, so happy. He's dying, yes, but he was so happy. غدا نلقى الأحبة محمدا وصحبه. Tomorrow I'm going to see my beloved one, the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, المرء مع من أحب, the Sahaba rejoiced. The Sahaba felt very happy because each one of them loves the Prophet ﷺ, loves to be with him. As the narrator said, and I love Abu Bakr and Umar. And may Allah curse those who hate Abu Bakr and Umar, who are next to the Prophet ﷺ, next to his grave. You call them disbelievers? You call Abu Bakr kafir and Umar kafir? Allah chose kafirs to be next neighbors to the Prophet ﷺ? Allah al-Musta'an. May Allah guide those whom you are misleading. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant them the hidayah. How come you don't have minds? You don't reflect, you don't think? Allah chose disbelievers to be next to the grave of His Prophet? No, He chose them because they were His ministers, wazirah, and they are next with Him in the Jannah. So the narrator said, and we love Abu Bakr and Umar. Abu Bakr and Umar. المرء مع من أحب. Whomever you love, you will be with. You love the Sahaba, you'll be with the Sahaba. You love the Prophet ﷺ, you will be with the Prophet ﷺ. And that is because you are sincere about it. Allah is watching your heart. Oh Allah, and you are praying and asking Allah to be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ in the Jannah. He looks to this. Is there ikhlas? Are you sincere about it? Yes. He grants it to you. He gives you that honor to be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ because of the ikhlas. And the hadith, coming back to the hadith, which is in Sahih Muslim, and سأل الله الشهادة بصدق بلغه الله منازل الشهداء فإن مات على فراشه. What a beautiful hadith. Again, because of the ikhlas. Whoever asks Allah martyrdom, shahada, to die as shaheed, as a martyr, for the cause of Allah, Allah will grant him the status of the shuhada in the Jannah. بلغه الله منازل الشهداء, the stations, the ranks, the levels of the shuhada in the Jannah. وإن مات على فراشه, even if he dies at home, not in the battlefield. So how come he's shaheed when he died at home? Because of the ikhlas, because of the sincerity. He was sincere, begging Allah, crying to Allah from his heart. The shahada, which the Prophet ﷺ, when he talked about the shahada, mashallah, said no one enters the Jannah. No one, after entering the Jannah, will like to come back to the dunya? No one. You are in the Jannah. You want to come back to the dunya? No one would like to do that. But one person only, the shaheed, the martyr. He wants to come back, to fight and to die again for the cause of Allah. The shaheed. All his sins are forgiven when the first drop of blood comes out from his body. All his sins are forgiven. And he will be giving the honor to intercede, to bring 70 of his relatives from the hellfire. So this is the honor of the shaheed. And yet, that's why Sayyidina Khalid radiallahu anhu, when he was dying, he didn't die in the battlefield, though he wished to die in the battlefield. He was saying, by Allah, I have witnessed so many battles. There is no single place in my body except that it has a slash of a sword or a wound caused by an arrow. I'm all over, all my body, full of the scars. Yet, I'm dying here on the bed. May the eyes of the coward never taste the sleep. This is an expression. So he wished to die in the battlefield. So this honor can be given to the person because of his ikhlas, because of his sincerity. Take another hadith. That's why we need to emphasize upon this. That's why it is a condition of the kalima. It's very important. Ikhlas is an essential element for the iman. The hadith of the three, and you can find it in the book of the Sunan and Riyadh al-Salihin, etc. The Prophet ﷺ told us about three men from among the nations who were before us. The night fell on them, so they sought shelter in a cave. And when they entered the cave, a rock fell and sealed the entrance. Now they are trapped inside. So how to come out? So they were discussing among themselves how we can come out from this. They said the only way that each one of you should remember a righteous deed that he did purely, sincerely for the sake of Allah. And he should supplicate to Allah and mention it. So they started. So the first one said, "Oh Allah, you know and you knew what I used to do to my parents. That I would go and milk the cattle, and I would come back and I would find my parents asleep. So many times he went milking the animals, bringing the milk. By the time he reached home, his parents already fell asleep. So he would not dare to awaken them to give them the milk. So he would stand all the night carrying the pot of milk, the container, on his hands, waiting for his parents to get up, to wake up from their sleep. Though his children were crying out of hunger, and he would not give the milk to his children. The moment his parents would get up, he would give them the milk. So he was doing this for the sake of Allah. Oh Allah, if you know, or if you knew that I did it for you, sincerely and purely, please remove the rock. And the rock moved. But they could not come out. The second one, he said, "Oh Allah, I had a cousin, of course female. She was so dear to my heart. I loved her. And the shaitan tempted me. And I tried one day to sleep with her. And she refused." This is the meaning of the narration. "And I tried to convince her, but she refused. Then she was in need, and she came to me, and I started to bargain with her. I will help you, but that you give me yourself. And because she was in need, and he said, 'Oh Allah, when I was about to sleep with her, she said, fear Allah, I left her for your sake.' And the third one said, 'Oh Allah, I hired a man, and he left his wage, and I invested that for him, and when he came back, I gave it to him, and it was 3 valleys full of animals. Oh Allah, if I did it for you, remove the rock,' and they came out walking." This is the importance of the ikhlas. May Allah grant us ikhlas. My dear brothers and sisters, and dear viewers, we are reaching the end of the episode. Looking forward to meeting you in the coming one. Till then, may Allah protect you, preserve you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.